All right, YouTubers, 2004 Mini Cooper alternator replacement. The alternator will be difficult to remove. I've maybe working on this thing for an hour. I've watched a couple videos. Not gonna help you. Watch this one. Front bumper is gonna have to come off the Mini Cooper to get the alternator out. My hands are small. Some people have larger. You're gonna want to watch me to get this off. All right. We're looking at the front bumpers coming off. You're gonna have this screw here, about 30mm Torx, and this screw here. On the bottom side, you're gonna have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tops bolts to remove. Okay, when you go to do the front bumper, take that'll come off pretty easy. The hardest part about that, in my opinion, was these little brackets here on the bumper. You got these extra two here. They could rust. They can start to spin and tear up this a little bit. You might have to get a vise, like a pair of channel locks, to hold right here, because it's been on there for so long. Hold it a little bit so it doesn't spin when you're taking it off. Now that is not too difficult, but you're gonna need 10mm. You're gonna need the 10mm to get that off, and you're gonna need, like, I'm using this 30mm Torx T30 to get that off. You go to pull the front bumper. When you go to pull the front bumper off, you're gonna have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts to take off there. And you're not using a T30. Let me pause. I don't know how to pause. There we go. All right, you're gonna need a wrench to do that. I don't remember which size I was using or where I dropped it at. We got a lot of activity in the garage right now. So you get that off, and then you're gonna have to come over to the left side. You're gonna have to come over to the left side here. What you got, in order for this bumper to come loose, it's this little nut here. A little tricky. They're all inside the wheel well. Let me get a little light in there for you. There's one. There's another one right there too. And you got another one up here. There it is, 3. So what you're gonna have to do, I see 4 actually. I don't know where the 4th one was. Where was the 4th one? It's on there. You'll find it. There's 4 of them. You're gonna need a small screwdriver, shorty, and you're gonna have to actually hold it when you're doing it. It's on the inside here. It'll stick out. You're gonna have to hold this end while you're screwing it out. And then, before it even pops, you only gotta get it out about that much, and they'll just pop right out. When they pop right out, it allows you to pull back this bumper to remove the alternator. Because there's one bolt on the bottom here that is just difficult as hell to remove. And I'm using the Allen wrench size for that is 1/2 inch to remove the one here. You're gonna need about a couple different wrenches. But by doing the alternator, by removing this, it gave me all the room I needed to work in here without removing the radiator. You don't want to remove the radiator. That sounds like more work. Now I have removed this little vacuum tube off the car. It's hanging here, okay? And I had to remove this as well, because first thing I did, you gotta lift this up right here, okay? I gotta get some more light. My headlight lamp's not showing everything. Get some more light. This is first thing you gotta do. So I just use an Allen wrench, no special fancy tools, an Allen wrench to hold that belt tension cable. Now what was required, I just grabbed this old jack. This is part of my car jack to lift up the car. I put that in here. I had to have a second person help me. I just stuck that in here, used 2 hands, lift this up. You're gonna have to be a man to do this one. Then you just have somebody slip that little Allen wrench in there, and then you're ready to take that whole thing off. Kind of showing you a little bit in reverse. You know, like this one, it's got this little crimps right here, and that's for that vacuum I just showed you. And the upper one, it's got these little buttons. You just squeeze the buttons and it pops right off. And same thing with this one. You just pull this back, pops right off. I do recommend before you start the project, disable the battery first. Make sure you don't get zapped or hurt. You get a little bit of coolant on there before you go to re-put the alternator back in, wipe it off. This is Steve. This is how you do it. Gives you the room, all right? Gives you plenty of room to work in here. I had plenty of room to ratchet. I had plenty of room to get my small ratchet in here and get to that third bolt on the bottom, because that's all the new alternator is going to need is 3 bolts. Here's the new one. You got 3 holes. You're going to use these top 2 holes here, and you're going to use the bottom hole here. That's going to be the challenge right there, that bottom hole. And this is why you need to remove that front bumper. Don't think about it. Don't waste your time. But you only need to remove the front bumper. That's all I did, is take that off. Take that off. My biggest challenge was those little clips on the side. Be careful, because you do not want to break those clips. I don't know how much they cost, but yeah, I don't need to find out either. All right? Like I said, it'll give you the room you need. You need to pull this back. This moves it about 2 inches. Just moved it 2 inches. 2 inches is all I needed to work to do the whole job. 2 inches. I don't need to remove the whole radiator, the whole front end of the car. Excessive. This is Steve. How to do that alternator replacement.